I'm making a quilt with wool fleece. So what I've done is I've got a couple of single sheets, nice flannelette single sheets. I just got them from the op shop. They were $2 each because they were a little bit worn, but such good quality. I pulled and pulled on that and I couldn't make it tear. So I thought, no, it's going to be fine for a quilt because a quilt doesn't get washed continuously like sheets. So it's a good way of using up your sheets. You could get a double one or a queen and just fold it over, and then you wouldn't have to sew on that side. But I've sewn up the sides. I sewed up this one first. Then I sewed up the sides just to a certain amount so that I could tuck it in. And then I started sewing this just by hand. Anyway, I found, that's the wadding on the inside. So I found that this is the wool that I was using. And I just thought it was not good enough for spinning, as I bought it from a friend who said it was a merino corriedale. Is it corriedale? No, merino. Oh, can't remember the name of that other breed. Anyway, but that's how it came, all scrunched up, completely concentrated and scrunched up, 2.5 kilos in a tiny post pack. And I thought when I opened it up, my goodness, how many years has that been sitting in that? And it's what I call a dead fleece. It wasn't clean, and it was all, merino goes quite sticky if it's not used quite fresh. That's one of the things. It doesn't really lend itself to storage. It really needs to be spun straight away because I like to spin in the grease. So there's hardly any grease in that at all. Pullworth, merino Pullworth it is. So when you sort of have a look at it and go, okay, there's the crimp there. It doesn't appear to be a fine one at all, but that's what it's like when you put it through the drum carder. It's gorgeous, and I could probably spin from there, but the thing is you've got all these, you know, that sort of thing going on. So depending on what sort of quality you wanted to spin it for, the major problem was it was full of vegetable fibre. And even though I've gone through it, I'm still coming across it. And you don't really want to be spinning when there's still stuff like that. But most of it aren't great big prickles. Where is it? Most of it isn't great big prickles. They're just bits and pieces of VF, as we call them. But that is an actual prickle. That is an actual prickle, you know. So they can jab you in the finger too and make your spinning fingers quite sore. So that's what a spinner doesn't want to see in their lovely fleece. But what I've done is I've just got the 2 old hand carders and I've gone through and that turns into that with those ones. And it would have been quite lumpy to make a quilt with it. If I'd have stuffed it with that, it would have done the job. It would have kept me warm. But over time, it wouldn't have been even. So I've used that to feed into the drum carder. And these are quite amazing. This is a nice brand new Ashford. So the handle is turned and it's fed in and it's picked up And after some time of feeding it in and then pulling it off, that's what you end up with. That's quite a chunky bat. It's actually too fat for what I need, but I did it half that thickness, slowly, but I just wanted to get it finished off, so I've done it double the thickness now. And I'll need to go through and pull out anything like that. And that should actually do it, because I can halve that and make it thing, yeah, and then make sure it's all even as it goes in there. La 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 la. Put the top back on once I've done the proper job, and continue with the hand sewing of the things. You could choose any sort of size you want. It could be smaller than that, bigger than that. When I talked to the ladies about doing it, they said, oh, you could do crisscrosses as well. But you know, quilting can be done, you know, simply or more look at this. This is just hand sewn really badly. But all I wanted was a spring weight wool quilt to go travelling with as I'm as the weather's warmed up a bit too much to need the lovely thick woolly one or the down one. And I'm just using up my fleece. So I hope that's inspirational to you. If I had a handheld thing, hang on a minute. I'm just threading the needle. I bought a handheld thing and it turned out to be an Apple. It's tiny. I don't know how small those phones are, but I'm a 65-year-old with a decent chunky Samsung, and yeah, why I went online and bought it from China when I could have probably just gone down the Harvey Norman or something. So I'll go down here and see if I can get... I just couldn't believe it was like about $6 or something. I thought they were going to be really expensive. That's why I bought it. Anyway, sometimes you buy things from China and you think it's a bargain. It's just a piece of crap. So, yeah, I'm just hand sewing it on.